Hello, hello. Welcome to Luke Trades Trading channel, where I am trying to figure out whether I can turn trading into my full-time income. I'm trading from Australia and I'm trading US markets, so that means late nights for me. And today is the day that I wish I didn't have to sum up, but it is what it is. I hit the max loss today, which is $80. I was trading with 160 shares max, so that means $80. Half of that is my max loss for the day, and I feel a little bit disappointed and frustrated, but it is what it is. I have to document it and learn from it. So the first thing I did after I finished my sessions, I actually write down all the mistakes I've taken. If I didn't make those mistakes that now are obvious to me, that they would be fine. But this is the thing. I feel like trading can really easily break you, and it got under my skin yesterday when I started the day with a mistake, and that was there were two stocks pretty much popping at the same time. One was called CRE, the other one was IBG, and the pattern, the price, everything was very, very similar, and I wasn't sure which one to choose. And I made a decision to choose the CRE one first. It was slightly ahead of the other one in terms of entry forming. So I thought, you know what? I'll take it. But now, after reviewing it, I shouldn't have never traded. And this is a new situation I experience here when two stocks very, very similar. As you can see, price 694 as an entry and here 649. So very close to each other. And one worked, the other didn't. Unfortunately, the one that didn't make more damage than the one that won. So let me talk about that first. So here it is. This is the stock, and that was around 5 a.m. And the reason why I know that I made a mistake is because when I look at a 5-minute chart around 5 a.m., now it is quite obvious to me that this thing was overextended. It was just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles, and on my chart, which I'm using different charts, this candle was green as well. So I saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green candles, and I never had such a huge move in all in green, and then I'm entering after the pullback. So now I think that was just too extended and there was no place to entry here, and I should not have entered, while the other one was just had two candles, and after that it had a pullback. So now I see that was a miscalculation, and I had to make a decision very fast because they both were pretty much happening at the same time with a small delay. So I chose this one, and it instantly rejected. As you can see, right, I entered right here, so I entered at 694, so right when it was squeezing through here, I thought there's gonna be a continuation, but very quickly it pushed down and then instant rejection, and I had to leave around here, 586, right there. So that candle was pretty much my entry and exit right here. I can show you the recording now. So this is it. I'm just gonna speed it up. So I already entered and I started recording after. I just got distracted, and as you can see, a small pull up, but then instantly rejection, and it didn't even try hard right there. One red candle, second try, and I can see that it's struggling here to break through. We can see that it's just not going through. So at this stage I'm like, all right, this is not gonna work, and here we go, bigger red, and instantly I had to exit because it went to pretty much my exit, and there you go, I exited 586. So more or less that was my 585 was my exit. So it's a loss, and I started with a loss. So the next trade, as it was still happening, it was still good to enter. I jumped very quickly to IBG, and that was the second very, very similar situation, but this one wasn't so extended. So I thought, you know what, that should have been my only trade, and I did enter. I did enter at 649. That was pretty good entry to me, and we could see some struggle here. I'm just gonna speed it up, but at first I saw a slight squeeze up, which for me is a great news because I know this has some momentum and I have timed it well. And then it just went back and forth until right there. So here is what I did wrong here, but it was still a good trade, but you know, as I could see, it couldn't break that $7 mark, and I was really hoping that it will, because my target was around 720. So as you can see, it just bounces off that 7 and then goes down and then tries again and goes to 7, and yet again it fails to break through. So it bounces off it, and then I thought to myself, you know what, it's not gonna break 7. I think I should exit at 7, which is very big, very good trade already. As soon as it reached that 7 mark for the third time, so 1, 2, 3, so for the third time it reached 7, and I thought, you know what, I have to exit that because it's just not gonna break 7. So I did. So I exited right here when I saw 698. I exited with 696. So pretty decent trade for me, but I didn't hit my target. And as soon as I did that, literally a few seconds later, it soared all the way to 730 or 40. And just momentarily, but still, it hit my target perfectly. So I didn't trust myself too much. I was also sitting in a red from a first trade, so I thought, you know what, I'll take those 50 cents, which is still a very good trade, 49 to 96, almost 50 cents. But nevertheless, I lost my nerves and could not hold. I don't consider it a mistake, but you know, but it could be slightly better. Anyway, the next trade, the same stock was doing the same thing, and it was a continuation. So with continuation, I'm always a little bit more cautious, and it's got a little less probability in my strategy. But nevertheless, I saw a good setup, so I entered at 664. Now this one took much longer, so I'm just gonna speed it up. It went down, and first I thought it's over, but it didn't get to my exit, which was 604. It just got squeezed up, and you know, I think it happened a few times. There you go. Right, so it did hit 605, which was right 1 cent above my my exit, but it didn't, and then it started pulling back. Amazingly, it squeezed all the way up to 664, 680, and this is where I was. Because the trade was so long, I didn't feel like I want to wait for my target again, and I thought, you know what, I'll just take those 20 cents. So I did take 22 cents here, or 21.5 cents on this trade, which is still a good trade. I didn't wait long enough for the full target, and I should have again, because soon later it squeezed. Yet again, it squeezed to around 720, 730. A little bit premature exit again, but you know, I'm happy with that. This is 20 cents, is a good trade after all. It's very small positions, as you can see, in both trades, because they're pretty risky. I was risking $1 here, over $1, here around $1. I captured 50 cents, and here it was, I think, 60-cent risk or something like that. So still a very big risk for me. That's why I'm entering with very small positions. I am around 30 bucks down at this stage, and I can see that the market has potential, so I'm gonna keep going. Next one was an experimental trade. I tried to enter based on the faster timelines, and I want to do that eventually, and I'm starting to test the waters. So again, small position, 35 cents. I wanted to enter in this pullback. As you can see, 3 red candles, nice volume profile. So I thought, you know what, let me get in here. The only issue was pretty high float here. So as soon as I entered, it momentarily squeezed up, gave me a little bit of hope, and then very quickly turn around, and that's when I exited with a small loss, $6 loss, right? So experimental trade, which I will do more and more of those in the future. Now next one is another mistake that I need to add to my strategy to avoid. We're back on the same stock called CRE that failed me the first time, and now I have a new rule based off that. If the stock failed previously, everything was fine when it comes to confirmation, but it didn't squeeze up as I was predicting, I should not enter it again. Now this was at 5 a.m. and then the second time when it started popping out was around 7:40. So I thought, maybe now this is better condition for it, but no, it wasn't. It did exactly the same thing as before. It gave me a confirmation. Where did I enter? Let me see. There you go. it did exactly the same thing as before. It gave me the confirmation, so I entered and very quickly reverse all the way down. And this is 8 a.m., so pretty long trade. And it pulled down just like it did before. So I'm a little bit disappointed in myself because I should have known better, but at the same time, this is how we learn. Position was 50 shares this time. It didn't work, so we lost around $20 here. So the last trade of the day on a stock PRSO was actually a really good trade that I managed to turn into a loser. That was disappointing, but nevertheless, it was pretty cheap stock, so I was hesitant, but at this stage I was pretty frustrated with today, and I thought, I shouldn't have traded really. But I saw this setup and it looked good, and it was a good setup, and I should have exit around 180, but I didn't. So let me show you quickly. It started popping up. I entered 821, so right around, let me go to, we can stay on 5 minutes. So 820, so I entered around here, right there. Okay, and it spooked me around here because it dipped right here, it dipped right there. So this is what spooked me, and all I had to do is just give it a little bit more time, because next candle, look, went to 178, hit my target perfectly. I wouldn't hold through that, but this is where my exit should be, and instead I was tired, I panicked, I don't know, I shouldn't have traded that long anyway. So frustration plus late night, it just added up, made me mess up this thing. But even though this is not something I want to see, that kind of a day, I still learned something. So the first thing I did after I finished the session, I have written down all the mistakes I've taken today, and that was mistake 1. On CRE, shouldn't have taken that trade, and I will not take another trade like that in the future, such an extended one. Second time on CRE, so entering something that didn't work before, that was not a big mistake. This was an experimental trade, so I'm just gonna not worry about it too much. And the third mistake was to not hold long enough, panic sell. So this one was a combination of frustration plus being tired, and really the best way would be to finish around here and just walk away. But I really wanted to get it back, so I guess revenge trading a bit. And a stupid mistake. It didn't have to be. As you can see, it worked out. I don't know what I did here. So today is a bit sad day, but I feel a little humbled, and I felt like I got already what it takes, but seems like I don't. And maybe next week, I'm a little bit smarter now. I have 2 more rules, I guess, in my rule book that I will try to obey. We'll see what happens next week. It's not an easy task. I never thought it's gonna be easy, but it can get to you, especially starting a day with a red trade. It's the toughest thing. Very difficult to recover from, and very difficult to not be affected by it. Just psychologically, that's difficult. So this is something difficult to get through, but it is what it is. That's the journey. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. So I know it's not going to be easy, and I will try to do my best next week. This week has ended on, sorry, this should be minus here. Minus $86.87. So not good. Not good at all. But I learned something, and those 2 days could be much higher. So I didn't capture this week properly at all. Even if I did capture those 2 days, I wouldn't have to worry about those losses. But hey, there's always tomorrow, or actually Monday, because today we got Friday, so 2 days off, and I will come back on Monday and try to do better. I'm not quitting, and I'm still want to document everything for the sake of, learning, really. I think this is a great opportunity to document my trades that way and post them on YouTube, because this teaches me a lot, and I can be really honest with myself. I think I'm not blaming the market, I'm not blaming Webull, I'm just owning my mistakes and hoping to do better next week. So anyway, thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and if you want to be a part of this journey and see me losing more money or maybe win some, who knows, then please subscribe, like, and I will see you tomorrow.